Hello everyone, welcome to another video in my income tax series. My name is Gaurav Lohia and I'm a chartered accountant. In today's video, we are going to discuss or end the topic of basic concepts in income taxes. So far we have had an introduction of what is income tax, what are the definitions, what are the types of taxes and all. Today, finally we are going to end with the rates of income taxes. Along with that, we are going to concentrate on surcharge, marginal relief, rebate, right? Now, there are multiple rates for, there are slab rates for individuals, HUF, AOP and all. Then you have rates for companies, then you have rates for partnership firms, etc., etc. I am not going to take you through each and individual rate. Neither am I going to write it down or show it to you. There is plenty of material available on the internet freely, or it is also there in the ICAI study material, or it is also there in the books you are referring to, right? Rather, we are going to concentrate on how to compute surcharge, marginal relief and rebate, right? But before we get to those, two important things when it comes to rates of income taxes specifically for individual. What are those? Now, when it comes to rates of income taxes for individual, there are two types of rates nowadays. One is the default regime, which is as per the section 115 BAC, section 115 BAC. And then there is an optional regime. What is the difference? So optional regime is also called as an old regime, and it's called old regime because it has been there for many years from the beginning of Income Tax Act. There are certain, before I explain further on old regime, the new regime on the other hand was introduced few years ago under section 115 BAC. It has different slab rates. It too has a slab rate structure, but it has a different slab rate than what is there for old regime, right? And more importantly, the slabs are bigger and higher in the new regime. Now, why do we have two regimes? So the difference between these two regimes is, in the old regime, there are many deductions which are available specifically under chapter 6A, section 80C to section 80U, right? There are many deductions which are available which are not granted in the new regime, right? One of the reasons could be to make the taxation or calculation of taxation more simpler, right? So this is the difference between the old regime and new regime. By default, the new regime is applicable. Certain cases, the assessee have an option to change it to the old regime or the optional regime. Whichever is beneficial can be chosen. However, once an assessee opts to go with the default regime or files their returns under default regime, in many cases, they do not have the option to revert back to the optional regime. Second thing is, when it comes to individuals, we have another concept of senior citizens and very senior citizens. So when an individual, be it male or female, does not matter, when an individual attains an age of 60 years, they are called as senior citizens. And when an individual attains an age of 80 years, they are called very senior citizens. Now, why is this distinction made is, as a person becomes a senior citizen or a very senior citizen, the default tax rate or the default or the basic exemption limit increases. The basic exemption limit increases as compared to non-senior citizen and non-very senior citizens. Now, when do you see the date, right? There should be a particular identifier to know when a person has attained the age of 60 years. Where how do you say if a person has, or when do you say a person has attained 60 years or 80 years? That is, as on 1st of April of every year, if a person has of 1st of April, on or before 1st of April of any given year, if a person has completed 60 years or completed 80 years, they will be referred to as senior citizens or very senior citizens, right? Okay. Next, moving on, we will now do some calculation on what is on rebate. First, we will come to rebate. Then we will look a small problem of marginal relief as well, right? So what is rebate, right? Rebate. So section 87A of the Income Tax Act, right, what it says is that if the total income of a person is less than or equal to 12 lakhs, if the total income is less than or equal to 12 lakhs, so total income should be less than or equal to 12 lakhs, then the person is eligible for a rebate, and the amount of rebate is the lower of either the tax payable or 60,000, lower of tax payable or 60,000. Lower of tax payable or 60,000. Lower of tax payable or 60,000, right? This is the rebate. Now let us see how to calculate it. I'll take 3 examples right now. So one, let us take as 11,80,000. Next we'll take as 12 lakhs. And then we'll take another one as 12,20,000. Why 12,20,000? Because we will also look at how the tax changes if you are earning more than 12 lakhs when the rebate stops, and how to calculate marginal relief as well, right? So first let us calculate the tax on 11,80,000, especially when there is rebate under section 87A. So my total income is 11,80,000, no further deduction, don't complicate it with standard deduction, chapter 6A, nothing. Okay, total taxable income is 11,80,000 after all the deductions. So, and we will only compute on the new tax regime. One more thing, let me just tell you right now. In this video, we are only going to concentrate on the new tax regime. We will not be calculating based on the old tax regime or the optional regime. If you do want me to, if you do want to understand how to compute in the old tax regime, you can let me know in the comments below. I'll make a separate video on that. In this video, we are only going to concentrate on the new tax regime. So what does the rate say? 0 to 4 lakhs, 0%, so nothing in any of them. 4 to 8 lakh is at 5%, right? So 11,80,000 into 5%. Sorry, 4 lakhs into 5%. I'm sorry, it will be 20,000 here, it will be 20,000 here, and it will be 20,000 here as well, right? Next, 8 to 12 lakhs is 10%, then the rate 12 to 16 at 15%. I'm not going further than this because our maximum income stops there, which is 12,20,000, which falls under this bracket, right? So 8 to 12 lakhs at 10% would be 3,80,000 into 10%, 38,000 for 11,80,000, 40,000 here, and 40,000 here. Next, nothing here because the income is less than 12 lakhs. Nothing here because the income is equal to 12 lakhs. Here, 20,000 into 15%, that is 3,000. So, how much the tax comes up to? 58,000, 60,000, 63,000, right? 58,000, 60,000, 63,000. Next, coming to rebate. How do you calculate the rebate? So what does the rebate say is, if my total income is less than or equal to 12 lakhs. In first case, is my total income less than or equal to 12 lakhs? Yes, sir. it is less than 12 lakhs. So we'll write down here rebate under section 87A. How much will be my rebate? How much will be my rebate? Rebate will be lower of tax, lower of income tax or 60,000. Lower of income tax or 60,000. Lower of income tax or 60,000. In this case, what is lower? My tax is lower. What is lower? My tax is lower, right? So my rebate will be 58,000. Tax payable will be 0. Coming to this 12 lakhs. Is my income less than or equal to 12 lakhs? Yes, it is. My income is equal to 12 lakhs. So am I eligible for rebate? I am eligible for rebate. How much will be my rebate? Rebate is income tax or 60,000, whichever is lower. How much is my tax? 60,000. Is it less than or equal to 60,000? It is equal to 60,000. So I can straight away say 60,000 is my rebate. So my tax payable comes to 0. Now, in the third case, is my income less than or equal to 12 lakhs? No, it is not. Do I get the rebate? No, I do not get. So there is no rebate. Tax comes to 63,000 only. However, there is, if you see here, just because my income is increasing by 20,000, just because my income is increasing by 20,000, sorry, I am paying a tax of 63,000. I am paying a tax of 63,000. If I had earned 12 lakhs only, that is, if I had earned 20,000 less 12 lakhs, I would have paid 0. Just because I have earned 20,000, now I am ending up paying 63,000 tax. This is not fair. The government realized this, that this is not fair. So government gave a provision of marginal relief. Government said, I'll give you marginal relief. What is marginal relief? Whenever my income is marginally more, which is causing for an excessive tax, which is causing excessive of tax, the difference of additional tax and the additional income would be allowed as marginal relief. You wouldn't have understood this, I know. Let's understand it with calculation, right? So marginal relief, I'll write here. This will form part of your working note. This will be your working note. Remember that. So marginal relief. In marginal relief, whenever you have to compute marginal relief, you have to compare two things. What is that? One is the additional income, and then you have to compare additional tax. One, you have to compare additional income, and second, you have to compare additional tax. How much is my additional income? How do you compute? What is my income? 12,20,000. Minus. What will be my minus? Minus would be the amount at which I would have paid 0 taxes or substantially lower taxes, right? Why do I say substantially lower taxes? We will look at when we go into surcharge. There again, we will do marginal relief problem because it will be more complicated. So where do I end up paying 0 taxes? Here in this case, 12 lakhs. So I'll reduce 12 lakhs here. So my additional income is 20,000. Next, coming to additional tax. What is the tax on 12,20,000? 63,000. Minus 63,000. My tax on income is 12,20,000 is 63,000. Next, I have to reduce the tax at 12 lakhs only. Why 12 lakhs? Because that is where we are paying 0 taxes. So at 12 lakhs, how much tax is it? How much tax does it get? 60,000. But there's a rebate as well. Because of the rebate, I am ending up paying 0 taxes. So I'll not take 60,000. I will take 0 tax. I'll take tax payable as 0 because that is what I'm actually supposed to pay. So my tax would be 0 in this case. So additional tax is 63,000. 63,000. Now the difference of these two is my marginal relief, that is 43,000. Here there is no positive or negative. There is no positive or negative. The difference of these two would be my marginal relief. The difference of these two is my marginal relief, right? So I reduce 43,000 here and my tax comes to 20,000. My tax is, 20,000. My tax is 20,000. On top of this tax, we have to add what? HEC at 4%. I have to add HEC at 4%. That is 800. 800. Yeah, I got 1,600. What? That is 800. HEC is 800. So my total tax comes to 20,800. My total tax is 20,800. Right? I hope this is clear. Next we'll move on to calculating surcharge when it comes to individuals. Look, the calculation of surcharge is same for everyone. When either it is companies, partnership, societies, anyone, right? The rates change, only the rates change. We are going to look at individuals only for now. Okay, next. Now we will take a little higher amount of income. Let's assume my total income is, let's say, 50 lakhs. I'm taking 50 lakhs. And in another instance, my total income is 50 lakh 50,000. In another instance, my total income is 50 lakh 50,000. No scope of rebate here because my income is way more than 12 lakhs. Income is way more than 12 lakhs. छोटी बात करना ही थी, ठीक है? Next, moving on. So, I will not even write down the slab rates. We know up to 0 to 24 under the new tax regime, up to 0 to 24, the tax will be 3 lakhs. Right? We only have to calculate what is above 24 lakhs. We have to only calculate what is above 24 lakhs. So 50 lakhs minus 24 lakhs, which is 26 lakhs into 30% comes to 7,80,000. Comes to 7,80,000. The total is 10,80,000. The total is 10,80,000. Income tax. Then we add surcharge. However, there is no surcharge here. Why there is no surcharge? So when you go to individuals and check, the rate of surcharge starts from 50 lakhs. The rate of surcharge starts from 50 lakhs. However, it is not on 50 lakhs. It is on more than 50 lakhs or greater than 50 lakhs. So if I earn exactly 50 lakhs, there is no surcharge. If I earn exactly 50 lakhs, there is no surcharge. If I earn 50 lakh 1 rupee, if my total income is 50 lakh 1 rupee, I'll have to pay surcharge. But should I pay extra tax if I just earn 1 rupee extra? No, that is where we have marginal relief. That is why what we are going to try or learn in this problem. So there's no surcharge here. So 0, 10,80,000. Then you have to add what? HEC, Health and Education Cess. HEC, Health and Education Cess, as it is 4%. How much is it? 10,80,000 into 4%, 43,200. 43,200. Total comes to 11,23,200. 11,23,200. Total tax. Now, let us look at 50 lakh 50,000. Let us look at 50 lakh 50,000. Same, up to 24 lakhs, it is 3 lakhs. About 24 lakhs, that would be 50 lakh 50,000 minus 24 lakhs into 30%, 7 lakh 95,000. 7 lakh 95,000. Total comes to 10 lakh 95,000. Now, will I get surcharge here? Yes, I will definitely get. Why will I get surcharge? Because my income is greater than 50 lakhs. My income is greater than 50 lakhs. So how much is surcharge? Surcharge is at 10%. So what are the rates of surcharge? So before we calculate, let us quickly look at the rates of surcharge. So these rates are only for individual, right? 50 to 1 crore. This is 50 lakhs to 1 crore. It is 10%. 1 to 2 crore, 15%. 2 crore to 5 crore, it is 25%. Above 5 crore, it is 37%, right? 5 crore to 50 lakh to 1 crore, 10%. 1 crore to 2 crore, 15%. 2 crores to 5 crore, 25%. And more than 5 crore, 37%. So if your total income as an individual is crossing 5 crores, you'll pay a surcharge of 37% on the total tax, right? Coming back to our calculation. So here, which bracket does my income fall under? My total income is greater than 50 lakhs but less than 1 crore. So my surcharge rate would be 10%. My surcharge rate would be 10%. So 10% would be 109,500. 109,500. How much is it in total? How much is it in total? 1095 plus 109,500. 12 lakh 4,500. 12 lakh 4,500. Now, am I eligible for marginal relief or not? Am I eligible for marginal relief or not? On the face of it, if you see, yes. On the face of it, if you see, yes. How do I say yes? You see the difference in my tax. Now, when you say tax for marginal relief, you should not take this tax. You should not take this tax. Not this. You should not take 11 lakh 32. What should you take? You should take this tax. Sorry, you should take this tax. Right? You should not this tax. You should take this tax. Right? In this case, we do not have surcharge. Even if we had surcharge, we would take it after surcharge. If we have surcharge, we take it after surcharge. Right? Now, so coming to marginal relief again, I'll just write as MR. How much is my additional income? How much is my additional income? 50 lakh 50,000 minus 50 lakhs. 50 lakh 50,000 minus 50 lakh. How much is it? 50,000. My additional income is 50,000. How much is my additional tax? Additional tax 12 lakh 4,500 minus 10 lakh 80,000. 10 lakh 80,000. How much is that? 1 lakh 24,000. 1,24,500. Now, before continuing, just for a moment, think. Just for a moment now, think. I have earned 50,000 extra than 50 lakhs. I have earned 50,000 extra than 50 lakhs. Is it fair for me to pay an extra tax of 1,24,000? Is it fair for me to pay an extra tax of 1,24,500? No, it is not. right? Just because I have earned a little extra, why should I pay a lot more extra in taxes? Why should I pay a lot more extra in taxes, right? So that is why we have the concept of marginal relief. That is why we have the concept of marginal relief. Now, how much is my marginal relief here? How much is my marginal relief? 1,24,500 minus 50,000, 74,500. My marginal relief is 74,500. So you subtract this from my tax. You subtract this from the tax. You get 11,30,000. Then you add the HEC 45,200. Add this 11,75,200 is my tax liability. 11,70,200 is my tax liability, right? Well, I hope marginal relief is clear, right? The video has been a little long. I think I should move on to the next topic, not complicate things. If, let's say, I'll quickly explain you, if my income is more than 1 crore, marginally more than 1 crore, let's say 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 lakh, yeah, 1 crore, 2 lakhs, for example. And then what you have to do, you have to calculate the tax as per 1 crore, right? You calculate the surcharge at 10% because it is between, the income is less than or equal to 1 crore. Then you compare it with, then when your income is more than 1 crore, you add 15% surcharge and then you compare these two, right? Okay, let's quickly do that. For example, I'll not write everything. Let's quickly do that because there is another topic which I want to close in this video, right? And then we will be done with our chapter 1. And next video is going to be interesting because we are going to talk about residential status for individuals. Section 6 of the Income Tax Act 1961, one of my favorite topics, right? So let's assume my income is 1 crore. My tax would be 3 lakhs plus 1 sec. Yeah. Into 30%. Yeah, 25 lakh 80,000. 25 lakh 80,000. On this, I'll have a surcharge. Surcharge of how much? 10%. 2,58,000. This is income tax. This is surcharge. This would be okay. I'll have to go old school here. 13,168, 28,38,000. 28,38,000. My income is a lot greater than 50 lakhs, which is the which is the lower end of my 10%. So there is no marginal relief here. So I can easily add HEC. So sorry, 25,80,000 plus 258 into 4%, 1,13,000, 1,13,520, right? And the total would be 025,245,9. 29,52,000, my total tax when it is 1 crore. Now let's go to 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 lakh. 1 crore, 1 lakh. So my income would be my tax would be 26,10,000. You guys can check. I am assuming this is correct. My surcharge, now surcharge will be 15%. When it comes to surcharge, it is not slab rate. It is not like from my income of 50 lakhs to 1 crore, I'll charge 10%, and above 1 crore, I'll charge 15%. No, it is a flat rate. What does it mean is, if my total income is more than 1 crore, a flat 15% on the total income. Flat 15% on the, sorry, not on total income, flat 15% on my tax, income tax. So 26, so it would be 26 lakh 10,000 into 15%. 3 lakh 91 500. 391 500. 391 500. Right? How much will my total tax be? 26100. Sorry. 30 lakhs 1,500. 30 lakh 1,500. Am I right? Yes, I am right. 30 lakh 1,500. Now, then we have to take the marginal relief into picture. So quickly, I'll not draw the working note. Please, 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 when you're writing in exams, make sure you show the workings as a working note for marginal relief, or else you will not get marks. How much is my difference in income? 1 lakh. My difference in income is 1 lakh. How much is my difference in tax? Difference in tax, 30 lakh 1,500 minus 2838 000, that is 1,63,500. So 1,63,500. The difference of these two is 63,500. The difference of these two is 63,500. Difference of these two is 63,500. My marginal relief is 63,500. My marginal relief will be 63,500. So my tax would be 3,001. 30 lakh 1,500 minus 63,500. That comes to 29 lakh 38,000. 29 lakh 38,000. On this, I have to add HEC. On this, do not forget to add HEC. Do not forget to add health and education cess in your examinations. Many students make this mistakes. Many students make this mistake. Do not forget to add health and education cess at the end. And also remember, when you're doing marginal relief, the tax should be up to surcharge. If there is no surcharge, then take it as surcharge. In your format, take this as 0 always. If there is no surcharge, you take it as 0 so that it becomes a practice. And you do not forget, marginal relief should be computed after surcharge, before cess. And once you calculate your marginal relief and subtract it, you have to add HEC, you have to add health and education cess. So 29,38,000 into 4%. 2938 into 4%. 1,17,000. 1,17,520. So this is 25, 8, 15, 4, 5. Oh, 0, 1, 3. 30,55,520. 30,55,520 is your tax. 30,55,520 is your tax after marginal relief. Right? So this is the concept of marginal relief. Same calculation if your your surcharge increased to 25% when your income crosses to 2 lakhs. Same when your when your income crosses 5 lakhs and the surcharge rates becomes 37%, right? There is no change in calculation. Right. Let this be. Now, last topic in our basic concepts, last topic, which is we are going to discuss about undisclosed sources of income. Undisclosed sources of income. What is that? What is undisclosed sources of income? Any source of income which you have not declared in your income tax return, or not shown to the assessing officer upon audit, or or not offered to tax. Basically, if any income which is not offered to tax, right, that is called as undisclosed income. And the tax on undisclosed income is 60%, flat 60%. If your undisclosed income is, let's say, 12 lakhs, there's no rebate, there's no slab rates, flat 60% on that 12 lakh is your tax. On top of that, there is a surcharge of 25%. On top of that, there is a surcharge of 25%. And then obviously, how can the government let go of health and education cess? 4% of that as well, right? So how much does that come to? 60 into 1.25 into 1.04. That comes to 78%. So if you have any undisclosed income, straight away 78% of that you pay as tax. This is the tax we are talking about. If the government catches you with any undisclosed income, on top of the tax, there are penalties as well, which we'll discuss later. I do not want to complicate things right now, but there is penalty as well. So if your undisclosed income is, let's say, 12 lakh, you might end up paying more than 12 lakhs as your tax and penalty, right? So let's not get into all those things. Let's try to pay tax on time, every time, and accurately. Now, what are I just want to discuss on certain types of undisclosed income or certain aspects of undisclosed income. The first is the cash credits. Section 68 says that. What is cash credits? Let's say you have received any sum of any money in your books of accounts. You have shown that, okay, I have received certain sum from anyone in your books of accounts, and you have not offered to income, and there's no explanation as well, right? In your books of accounts, you just pass an entry, received 1 lakh from XYZ. You have just said received 1 lakh from XYZ. There's no explanation as such. Why have you received? Have you sold anything? Have you offered this to income? Nothing. Then that is called as cash credits, and it would be added to your income. That would become part of your income. It would be added to your income. Next is unexplained investments. Let's say the income tax officer comes to your house or your office, and he sees he notices there is some jewelry, or there is some cash, or there is some investment rather, which is not disclosed in your books of accounts, which is not part of your books of accounts, right? For example, you have 1 kg of gold at your home, and the income tax officer comes to your house. He sees that 1 kg of gold, and in your balance sheet you have not shown any gold. There is zero. In your balance sheet there is 0 gold. So that 1 kg of gold, the value of that 1 kg of gold becomes your part of income as an undisclosed income. And then unexplained money. Unexplained money is as good as unexplained investment. If there is any money, bullion, jewelry, etc., which is found with you, and you have not offered any explanation from where you have acquired it, then it would become part of your unexplained, then it will form part of your undisclosed income. Next, amount of investments not fully disclosed in books of accounts. Amount of investment not fully disclosed in books of accounts. What does this mean? It is as good as or similar to unexplained investments. You have made an investment not disclosed in books of accounts, done. But why do we have two different things? That is, one is unexplained investments, then amount of investment not disclosed in books of accounts. The difference is, in unexplained investments, you have not shown the investment at all. Let's say you have shares of company XYZ and you have not disclosed it in your books of accounts, then it becomes part of unexplained investments. But let's say you have shares of XYZ company, right? You purchased shares of XYZ company on 1st of April, and the market value of those shares on the day you have purchased is 10,000. Let's assume you have purchased 100 shares and the market value was 10,000, but in books of accounts you have only shown 5,000. You have shown 100 shares, but the investment value you have shown as 5,000 only. So there you have disclosed it, you have under disclosed it by 5,000. You have under disclosed it by 5,000. So that 5,000 which you have under disclosed will become part of your undisclosed income, right? Then any expenditure, unexplained expenditure. So any expenditure which you have incurred, for which you cannot offer any any explanation saying where you got that money to make that expenditure, right? Then also it is, and then it will be added to as undisclosed income. But you will say, sir, it is an expenditure. Why expenditure is added to my income? So let's assume a case here. Let's assume you are Walter White from Breaking Bad, right? If you remember, if you have watched rather in Breaking Bad, if you have watched Breaking Bad, Walter White, you remember he buys I think Jaguar or Rolls-Royce car once. For the world, he is still a high school professor of chemistry. He's still a professor of chemistry in high school. So he does not have enough money to buy that luxury car, right? You assume yourself in a similar situation. You are earning, let's say, 50,000 rupees per month, 50,000 rupees per month. But suddenly you buy a car which is, let's say, 3 crores or 5 crores, right? You have made an expenditure. So now you have to explain where did you get the money to buy this car. And if you do not give that explanation and do not show that the income from which or the money from which you have purchased this car is either taxed or borrowed from legal sources, you will be taxed on that amount. You will be taxed on that 3 crores or 5 crores, whatever car you assume. Next, the last in this is amounts borrowed or repaid on hundi. Hundi is a concept which kind of no longer exists, I suppose. I've never seen it. But wherein if you have borrowed any money from hundi or you make payment of a loan, if you are making a payment of a loan which is not through an account pay check, then it would be considered as your undisclosed income. Today, if you take any loan, forget about hundis and all, you take a loan, right? And to repay that loan, if you don't pay it through an account pay check. Now, when you say account pay check, it covers your NEFT and all as well. Basically, you have to make it through bank, right? Not a bearer check, obviously, but it has to be an account transfer, NEFT, RTGS, or a account pay check wherein the amount would be deposited into the person's or the receiver's bank account directly. In those kind of cases, it is fine. If it is anything other than this method, then that amount would be considered as your income. Right? So now, this ends our chapter 1, which is basic concepts. Next video, we are going to talk about residential status and specifically about section 6, residential status of individuals. Very interesting and very important topic. So do tune in for the next video and hopefully it would be uploaded soon. And thank you for watching. If you have been till here, it's a long video than I expected. Thank you for watching anyways. Please do comment the topics which you are not well versed with, or the topics you would like me to cover. If you did like today's format of my solving questions, do let me know. As the classes progress, I upload more and more videos, you're going to see a lot more of this, a lot more of problem solving, because income tax is all about solving problems. Please do like my video. That really helps. That tells me, are you really liking my video? Are you really watching my video or not? Do share with your friends if you did like it, and let me know if there is any improvements you would like me to make. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.